Hey you guys, it is Ashley M. Days here with Couch Talk Network. And today I thought I would do a little bit of talking on the couch. Um, I have shared my story in different ways and bits and pieces. And as I was preparing to do a video this morning on um, opposition, after listening to Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, I realized that I have a story to share with you guys that will help you understand why I am passionate about what I do with Couch Talk. Um, the mind work, the work on emotions, and connecting with yourself intimately, and uh, just really using a lot of self care. Um, because as women, we neglect self care a lot because it's in our nature to care for others, um, even when we're going through what we're going through. And we have so much more to prove than than a lot of people. So we tend to put ourselves on a back burner, and we tend to um, minimize our mental health. We minimize people crossing boundaries and how we cross our own boundaries. We minimize the feelings we have of inadequacy with work, with parenting, with relationships. We compromise in order to feel something sometimes, or to just get it over with, you know. And we often just lose ourselves in what we're trying to prove, um, in what we're compromising, and um, in becoming a parent, and becoming a wife, a girlfriend, and becoming um, climbing the corporate ladder in whatever position, being in school, we lose ourselves and we lose who we are. And, that causes so much um, anxiety and depression. It causes um, uh, unthinkable stress physically, mentally, emotionally. And we bottle all of this up just so that we can keep going. If not to prove to anybody else, to definitely prove to ourselves. And I'm a witness of that. I always have something to prove to myself, and which you should, but at what expense, you know? And I want to share with you some things I learned about myself and I had to accept in order to actually deal with. And it was hard to accept these certain things that was going on with me, but it kept happening, and it kept happening, and it kept happening. And I I would pray, and I would pray it away, and it will be fine, it will be good, but it will keep happening. One thing I learned is that God will continue to make you face things until you learn what it is He needs you to learn from it. Does it hurt? Yes. Does it feel like you're spinning your wheels? Yes, because you are, because you have not taken that lesson and turned it um, into a boundary for you, so that you can move to the next level. So, and people too, you let people in and out of your lives all the time. There's a revolving door, for relationships, for friendships, for family, and it drains the crap out of you, but also that you can um, feel like you're getting what you need. and when in actuality, you're not. Um, I always knew that I had ADHD. As a kid, I had ADHD. Um, no, I wasn't hyper and bouncing off the walls. Um, my attention span was this big. I couldn't focus. I was one of those people who was quiet and inattentive. You know, I'm quiet and I'm staring off into space. I'm daydreaming. I'm thinking about something else. And, to this day, when I'm in the middle of something or somebody's talking, I will catch myself thinking about um, what happened last night or what I need to do later. And as an adult, I think we do that anyway, just because of the hustle and bustle of everyday life and things we have to get done. But for people who have the ADHD or ADHD or ADD, excuse me, it's a lot more intense and it happens a lot more often. And you forget things, you lose things, you do things halfway. Um, you get cranky, you get irritable, you're impulsive, and a lot of times people think the H, the hyperactivity part, means that you are just all over the place, and that's not always the case. Um, yes, your mind is all over the place, but a lot of times it's the impulsivity um, of the disorder. It is the part where you have to move to the next thing. Um, yes, you want to get things done, but for some reason you have an impulse to do something else. Um, and it gets really frustrating, and it's really frustrating for kids because they don't understand it and they act out. And for adults, some people act out still, but it's really frustrating, and it can you can internalize it, and it causes other things like the depression and the anxiety, um, and just not being able to get things done. And when you can't get things done, you can't be productive, then you don't feel good about yourself. So I went through that. I actually thought I was going through life pretty daggone good. I thought I had my ADHD under control. Um, I was on top of things. I was learning. I was creative, and that's one thing that we are. We're very creative, and we like to learn, but we don't like to just stick to one thing. That's one of the problems. But strength or a problem depends on how you look at it. But anyway, um, moving on, I realized as I was going into another job, into a new position, I wasn't doing well. I asked for a reference from who I thought was a friend at the last job. Um, and she said that she wouldn't give it because it didn't appear that my work was getting done well in my eyes. I was doing great. I had been in the field for a long time and I knew my stuff, and I did, and I still do. Problem was, it wasn't translating to the paperwork. Um, and that really, it hurt me first. And I was like, really? I thought we was cool, and I can't even get you to answer a phone call for a reference. Okay, cool. So I had to really internalize that and process that, and I realized that I had problems. I wasn't focusing like I needed to, and getting the job done. So when I got into this new place, and also around this time, my dad had passed away. So it was a lot. It was a lot emotionally, mentally. So I went and had an assessment done. I went and had a mental health assessment done. I was officially, as an adult, diagnosed with ADHD and situational depression, obviously. My dad had passed away. So I went to counseling for a little bit, and things were good, things were okay. And I ended up getting on medication for my ADHD, which was a absolute blessing. I did not realize how ineffective I was being um, in my workplace. I didn't realize how the irritability and frustration was causing me to lash out and be incapable of, um, you know, being patient and doing what I needed to do with my son, let alone work. Home was affected too, and I had no idea. It was awful once I really was able to take a good look and and a picture. And the depression part, okay, situation depression. Let's fast forward a couple years later. Um, Went back. Now I have depression. Um, is moderate, and I'm functional. I don't. I'm still able to go to work. I'm still able to take care of my son. I still get the things done that I need to get done. But there's moments where I am just sad, where I am tearful, where I am just going through the day to get through the day. And I get angry because I can't figure out why I cannot get up to do something productive. There's always something to be done. And yes, you need rest, and that's okay. But when you get to the point where nothing matters for days at a time, that sucks. And that also messes with your self-esteem, and it causes you to become even more depressed. So on top of that, I learned I had anxiety. Who would think? I've been in the mental health and substance abuse field together for over 20 years now, and I've seen anxiety, I've seen depression, I've seen ADHD, which I have owned, and I have always owned the ADHD. But depression and anxiety, lady, you tripping, doc, you tripping. I'm high functioning. I get my work done. I have climbed the ladder. I have started my own business. I have established myself in a new area. Like, get out of here. Depression and anxiety, no. Whew. But that I had to, I don't want to say, yeah, I'm going to say own it. I had somebody tell me sometimes, you need to, um, you need to rebuke that. Don't claim that. But what I've learned is that by not acknowledging it, it only got worse. Did I pray? Absolutely. I still do. And that's what helps me. That's a given. My faith is very strong, and as part of the reason I'm able to get through this, and that is part of the reason I'm able to do this video right now. Faith. There is a reason, and there's somebody out there that needs to hear this. You know, um, we think because we're doing so well that we can't have these things that's ailing us. Am I my depression? Am I my ADHD? Am I my anxiety? Absolutely not. And neither are you or anybody else that is diagnosed with it. But what I am is intentional and purposeful. So what happened is Once I owned it, I acknowledged that this is what's going on with me. I cried. It still actually brings me to tears because, you just never know what what's going to attack you. And a lot of times when things attack you, it's because you have a purpose. You have um, something to get up and live for and share. And I've always known that I have a purpose, that God has given me um, certain gifts that that is for you. You know, but I would never able to I would never be able to fully give it to you and help you if I can't even tell you my story about how I refused to believe that I had depression. I refused to believe that I had anxiety. I um, refused to do anything about it for quite a while. You know, um, and again, like I said, I told you at times I still can't believe it. Like, and people get depressed. People get very, very, very sad. It happens, it's common. But when it takes over your your mental state and your capacity to do the things that you um, feel like you need to do, want to do, when it takes over your capacity to um, just be who you are. It is what it is. And again, as soon as I owned that, I had a lot less episodes of being depressed. I go through my moments, but I'm able to restructure my mind, in such a way where I am able to bring myself back. I'm able to refocus on my vision and my goals. I'm able to refocus on my faith and what drives me. And then I'm able to restore that balance and that healing and be back to myself a lot quicker than I have been in the past. It's about attitude. It's about understanding yourself and what you're capable of. Oh my God, don't get me started on that. What you're capable of. We all have that inside of us that we don't hadn't even tapped into yet. And I'm growing in that way. But the anxiety part really threw me for a loop too, because again, like I said, I've worked with people with anxiety. I can't have anxiety because I don't have panic attacks. I don't freak out with worry. Actually, I don't worry much at all. My faith is strong in that way. You know, um, not that much to say I have anxiety, but fear, mm, fear causes my anxiety. Um, I get really My anxiety manifests in anger. Um, yes, in anger and urgency. Um, when prime example, my son has asthma, and when he needs his when his regular nebulizer isn't, I'm sorry, albuterol pump isn't working. We used the nebulizer in the past, and there was a point where I couldn't find the nebulizer, and I was freaking out. And he's like, "Mom, I need it." And I'm yelling at him, "I'm trying to find it. Don't you understand?" Anger. That was my anxiety kicking in. When there's times when I'm angry with myself because I can't get things done on time. I can't, um, I feel like I have to be doing something. I started to get frustrated. Okay, you guys, so that is my story. ADHD, depression, anxiety. I didn't want to succumb to the fact that those things were and is interfering with parts of my life. And when I did, acknowledge it, when I did own it, I was able to do something about it. I was able to be more prepared um, when things came my way that had to do with depression, anxiety, ADHD. It's still something that I struggle with, and I don't know if this is going to be something that I have to struggle with for the rest of my life. Maybe, maybe not. But what I do know is I believe in myself and my ability to move past this. Some people may need more than what I'm doing. Some people may need just enough. Some people may just need to acknowledge that they're going through something that has them in a way that they don't understand or they can't control. Because, for me, it was the fact that I couldn't control these things, that was happening to me, which is another part of my whole anxiety thing. But, I didn't realize I was a control freak or I had a control problem, but I do. Um, and again, that's something that I'm working on too, and letting go. So don't be afraid to own what's going on with you. That's the only way that you can make it through. You know, and that's all I got for you today, to be honest. But I do thank you for joining me on my couch with Couch Talk Network today and allowing me to share my story and to let you know that you're not alone, and that things can get better. It's not, you're not stuck. There's ways to break through all of this. And um yeah, that's it. So until next time, I want you guys to leap off the couch into your new future, owning what's going on with you and taking care of it. Taking care of yourself. Because if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of anyone else. And if your goal is to take care of certain things on certain levels, then you have to take care of yourself. So just do it, you guys. Um, if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to like it. If this video touched you in any type of way, comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if any of this resonates with you. Let me know if it didn't, or if it didn't make sense to you. And then if you like me, subscribe. You know, there will be a lot more that's coming to you about different parts of my life and my story that that I think will help. So subscribe, like, comment, and remember that you are great in any circumstance. Take care.